The new bishop of the Phoenix Catholic Diocese has officially opened a mental health ministry at the diocese downtown. It is the first major appearance for the bishop since he assumed the office back in August.
Team 12's William Pitts talked to Bishop John Dolan today about his plans for the diocese going forward. He joins us from the Alert Center with more. Hey, Will.
Hey, guys. Yeah, this was our first chance to sit down with Bishop John Dolan. He's only had the office for about 4 months now, and he takes over the diocese from Bishop Thomas Olmsted, who made himself known as very conservative and very outspoken. Now, Dolan didn't say exactly where he would come down or if he would be as outspoken as his predecessor. Instead, he said he plans to not do anything for at least a year to get a feel for what his parishioners actually want.
Pope Francis is focused on the process called synodality, which basically means to listen and then to assess and then to act. Those are the three aspects of synodality. So we listen to the community. That to me is probably the biggest issue for me, is I want to hear what people are saying, not just people in the pews, but people in our society as well.
And we talked to Dolan at the opening of a new office in the diocese, a mental health ministry. Dolan said he wants the church to be able to help people with mental health issues, not just religiously, but also medically. And coming up at 6:30, we'll tell you why a mental health ministry was so important and so personal for the new bishop. William Pitts, 12 News.
Well, thanks. Turning to your weather now, after yesterday's winter storm, it seems like some areas just couldn't get enough. This is what it looked like just a few hours ago in Cordes Lakes. We want to say thanks to David for sending in this video. Meteorologist Lindsay Riley joins us now for a first look at your forecast.
And Lindsay, it looks like temperatures are going to be getting a whole lot colder.
They are some of the coldest temperatures of the year, and temperatures falling into the 30s tonight all across the valley. High temps for the next couple days will be in the 50s, and we were only in the 50s today. In fact, 55 degrees for the high. We're currently at 51 in Phoenix, a chilly 44. That's the air temperature up in Anthem. We have freeze and hard freeze warnings in the bright purple around Tucson, Globe, and west of Phoenix. That is a hard freeze warning. Those areas dropping into the upper 20s tonight. In the dark purple, low temps will be in the low 30s. Nonetheless, you can see around Sun Lakes, Queen Creek, Cave Creek, those areas dropping into the low 30s tonight. It will be frost on the area lawns tomorrow morning and on plants, so do cover up those plants tonight. Skies will begin to clear. Temperatures in the 40s for most of the evening, dropping off into the 30s by 4 a.m. And then we're in for a couple sunny days. We'll track that along with the cold temps coming up in your full forecast.
All right, we'll see you shortly, Lindsay. Thank you. New tonight, Kari Lake's legal challenge in the wake of her loss in the governor's race could go on well past Christmas. A Maricopa County judge today laid out the timeline for arguments by Lake's attorneys and state and county elections officials.
Team 12 political insider Bram Resnick joins us with more on that and whether Lake's challenge could be decided by the time Governor-elect Katie Hobbs is sworn in. Bram?
Yeah, it's going to be close. Kari Lake's lawsuit could go a few ways. The judge could throw it out by the middle of next week, but if he doesn't, he'll be working through Christmas, and a decision on whether Katie Hobbs' victory will stand up could come within days of her scheduled oath of office. Former TV news anchor Kari Lake lost her bid for governor to Democratic Secretary of State Katie Hobbs by 17,000 votes.
And we had such an amazing movement.
Under state law, Lake can challenge the results in court. Now we know how her lawsuit, filed late Friday, will play out. Maricopa County Superior Court Judge Peter Thompson penciled in the court calendar. State and county elections officials will make their case to dismiss Lake's lawsuit on Monday, December 19th. If the judge doesn't dismiss the case, there will be a 2-day hearing next Wednesday and Thursday, December 21st and 22nd. Under state law, the judge must decide within 5 days, no later than Tuesday, December 27th, whether to confirm Hobbs as the winner or toss out her victory. Timing is everything, because on Monday, January 2nd, Hobbs is scheduled to take the oath of office as Arizona's next governor.
Pushing this back any further will threaten the orderly transition of power.
Governor-elect Hobbs' attorney warned during Tuesday's court hearing that dragging out the case could cast a pall on the January inauguration. And Kari Lake could appeal any of the judge's rulings. Her allies have set up a new organization, the Save Arizona Fund, to help pay her legal bills. Let's send it back to you.
All right, Bram, thanks. Still ahead, police make an arrest surrounding the collapse of the crypto company FTX, with the founder now facing fraud charges.
Plus, a group of U.S. lawmakers now proposing legislation that would ban TikTok across the United States. And ahead in our next half hour, after the complaints from residents started piling up, the city of Phoenix listened and cleaned up an area filled with bulk trash.
Time to get you up to speed on some of the other stories we're following tonight. Phoenix police are asking for your help to find a missing man. His name is Gary Holliday. He hasn't been seen since last Saturday. He's 61 and was last seen near 7th Street and Baseline. Police tell us that he suffers from a condition that causes him to easily get confused. He may also be in a wheelchair from a recent medical procedure. If you have any information, you're asked to give Phoenix police a call. The former CEO of the major cryptocurrency exchange FTX has been indicted on federal charges. Sam Bankman-Fried was taken into custody in the Bahamas last night and is now facing 8 separate charges, including conspiracy and fraud. Officials have been investigating him since the collapse of FTX last month. It was one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world until the company couldn't cover a sudden wave of customer withdrawals. The calls to crack down on TikTok continue to grow, with new proposals making their way through Congress. Senator Marco Rubio introduced a bill this week that would ban TikTok from operating in the U.S. Congress has introduced similar legislation. The lawmakers are concerned about the short-form video app's parent company, ByteDance, and its affiliation with China, as well as its ability to safeguard America's data from the Chinese government.
Still ahead on 12 News at 6, the latest on the triple threat of illnesses affecting Arizona as folks who are sick struggle to find medication. Plus, with more kids staying home sick from school, we'll take a closer look at the effect that it's having on parents who need to take off time from work.
You know, yeah, boy. He said, yeah, boy. Hey, what else you want, buddy? A lot of stuff around here.
In health news tonight, Arizona's health system continues to deal with a triple threat of illnesses ahead of the holidays.
The Arizona Department of Health Services is reporting higher than normal levels of COVID, RSV, and the flu. And in the midst of more people getting sick, you may have noticed that certain medication is becoming harder to find, like pain and fever medication for kids. Well, the good news is that experts say that there aren't any problems with manufacturing, and the shortage is being driven by the high demand. Drug makers are now adjusting their production levels to catch up. Meanwhile, as more people get sick, more and more parents are being forced to take off time from work to care for their kids.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, more than 100,000 Americans, 100,000, took off work last month to help take care of their sick kids. That's more than at any time during the pandemic. If your kids are sick, doctors say keep them home to help prevent any further spread.
I mean, with the number of kids that are coming in sick, I mean, especially young kids, they can't be left by themselves, right? So the parents, unfortunately, have to take time off to be with their kids until they can mend and get back to school.
Parents are limited in their options to keep their child healthy, but doctors recommend keeping children up to date with their vaccines as the best bet. And that brings us to our 12 News Bullhorn question. Have you used all of your sick time this year? Yes, no, or you never had any.
And 49% say that you have not used all of your sick time. 16% say you have, and 34% say that you never had any. You can vote by going to 12news.com/bullhorn.
All right, let's check in with Lindsay, because this weather, and some people enjoy it if they're going to play in the snow, but it really is conducive to getting sick.
It is, yes, definitely a rapid cool down, and the next 2 mornings will be the coldest mornings of the week. We're talking freezing temperatures around the valley, and then some single-digit lows up in the high country. And right now, even parts of the state still seeing some rain and snow showers. This was the look in Scottsdale shortly after 5 p.m. That's a double rainbow. We've had a few rain showers move across the valley, particularly the East Valley, and now Scottsdale drying out, but we're seeing some of that rain come down along US 60 between Mesa and Apache Junction. But as quickly as it starts, it's going to be a quick burst of rain and then out of here, and skies will begin to clear over the next few hours. A few more snowflakes around the Globe area, and then now the Rim Country and the White Mountains starting to clear out. So overall, skies clearing, and that's going to lend itself to a very cold night tonight. Check out Flagstaff. That's the current temperature. It's already 19 degrees. It's 25 in Show Low, 41 in Safford. Today in Phoenix, it was one of the coldest days we've had in close to 2 years. Our high was 55. We haven't had a high of 55 or under since January 26th of 2021. The average high right now is 66 degrees. Here's a look at our forecasted lows tomorrow. We will have some frost across the valley. It's a good night to cover your plants, dropping down to 32 degrees in Mesa and Queen Creek, 33 in Sun Lakes and Chandler. And high temps tomorrow, despite the sunshine and the light winds, will be very similar to today. Mid-50s across the valley. Elsewhere, these are our forecasted lows across the state. 16 in Prescott, 8 at the Grand Canyon, 15 up toward the Navajo Nation, and we're looking at 11 degrees tonight in Show Low. And just remember, with these freezing temperatures, to cover your plants, cover even exterior pipes, and make sure your pets are inside for the next couple of nights. And break out all the winter weather weather gear. The hat, gloves, and scarf, whether you're in the valley or the high country, you will need it the next few days. Here's a look at our Arizona forecast for tomorrow. 60 in Lake Havasu, sunshine straight across the board. We won't be tracking any moisture tomorrow. Our Flagstaff 7-day shows single-digit lows on Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Overall, below average temps. And in the valley, we do make it back to the 60s for highs, but we're also looking at some cold mornings also Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday as well.
Okay, Linz, thanks. Minutes away, new numbers show inflation is starting to cool down, but the picture isn't as bright for Arizona's economy. We'll tell you why.
Plus, while prices at the pump may have been improving, while you're likely spending on that savings on other necessities where prices continue to rise.
And I'm Cameron Cox, live out here at the Walmart in Tempe. It's the annual Shop with a Jock for the Arizona Cardinals. They are out here spreading the holiday joy with some families. Look at this, Antonio Hamilton right now loading up the basket for one family. They get to pick out whatever they want inside of Walmart. These kids are having a blast. We're going to talk to some of the Cardinals coming up in sports. We needed this today, everybody. Such a great event that the Cardinals do every year. We'll have more coming up about 6:45.
Yeah.
Welcome back. New numbers out today from the Labor Department show that inflation is slowing down in the U.S. But if it feels like things aren't getting much better in the Valley, you're not far off.
A new report from Wallet Hub shows that when it comes to where inflation is rising the most, you guessed it, Phoenix is #1 in the country. The report compares numbers from the Consumer Price Index. Nationwide, inflation was at 7.1% in November compared to a year ago. In the Valley, that number is 12.1%.
Checking on Wall Street, markets reacted well to the latest inflation data. But tomorrow will be the big test, with the Federal Reserve set to make a decision on a potential interest rate hike. It would be the 7th time this year that the Fed raises interest rates.
One of the recent bright spots in the economy has been that gas prices continue to fall. But all that money you're saving on gas, you're probably spending in the grocery store. That's because gas prices and grocery prices are trending in opposite directions. Between October and November, gas prices dropped 2% to levels that we haven't seen since before Russia's invasion of Ukraine. On the other hand, grocery prices rose by 0.5% in November, led by a whopping 8.9% jump in the price of lettuce. Overall, when asked when prices across the board could get back to normal, President Biden said that he's hoping that it happens by the end of 2023. Well, don't go anywhere. We have a lot more still ahead for you in the next half hour of 12 News at 6.
Here are some of the stories that we're working on. President Biden calling it a blow against hate. The major piece of legislation that he just signed and what it means for same-sex marriages in our country.
Plus, a border city dealing with a massive surge of migrants. What it's now forcing officials to do as a cold snap grips the region.
And you'll see why an Arizona congressman is spearheading an effort to remove the Homeland Security Secretary from office.
The next half hour of 12 News at 6 is minutes away.
I got you. You got me? How far am I in this show?
We begin our second half hour with a new ministry within the Phoenix Catholic Diocese that's focused entirely on mental health. It's the first time the church has dedicated an office specifically to helping parishioners who are dealing with mental health issues. Part of the reason for this new ministry comes from Bishop John Dolan's own family tragedy of losing 3 siblings to suicide.
And it's a topic that he opened up about to Team 12's William Pitts.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
This room will see some rough times.
We ask you to bless us.
Bishop John Dolan knows that, maybe better than anyone.
People come to the door constantly, and either on behalf of someone who is struggling with mental health, maybe somebody in their family, and they're just wondering, number one, how to navigate that.
Not normally in the Catholic Church's wheelhouse. There's never been a mental health ministry in Arizona or anywhere else.
Send down your blessing on this mental health ministry.
But Dolan is not the typical priest.
It's near and dear to my heart. I lost 3 siblings, one sibling just 2 months ago through suicide.
3. A brother when he was in grade school, a sister while he was in seminary, and another sister just this year.
And my sister Mary, who died just 2 months ago, man, she fought all her life to live. I've never met a person who fought as hard as she did. And finally, it just wasn't going to work. I have gone through, my hard conversations with God, acceptance, denial, anger, depression, bargaining, all of that stuff. I did.
Things a brother would do. Things you might want a priest for.
Those emotions are okay. And it's okay to be angry with God. God's big enough to handle our anger.
Handle it and turn it into something else, a plan.
It opened up doors for people to share as well. And in reality, that's what this office can offer.
This office will be a place for priests to learn about mental health struggles, what to look for, what to do, how to help, and for families to be helped.
We can see it. The government tries to work on it. The religion tries to work on it. It's going to be hard, but I'm attentive to the people who fall through the cracks.
And Dolan sees this office as a way to seal those cracks and maybe keep others from the pain he knows so well. And Dolan also admits that mental health and suicide were taboo for the Catholic Church, even up until the 1990s. He says he wants people to know that none of it is a lack of faith, a character flaw, or even something that can be prayed away. But guys, he does want people to know that there is help out there.
It is so innovative for the church to jump into something like this, and it comes at a time when we're in the midst of this mental health crisis.
Right, and especially part of the battle is understanding mental health, and he understands it, right?
He really does. He really does. And part of that is knowing what to look out for, and the priests are kind of the front lines in that.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
It's a great idea. All right.